Alright folks, so haven't made a video in a while, and unfortunately don't have a generator and just don't have the money to get another generator right now, so it's going to be a few weeks before I can do anything. But in the meantime, I've been trying to work on my Chevelle right here and trying to do things that don't take electricity to do. And went ahead, got about this far, got to get a little bit further. I got this side clear, so this side will roll right on out. I just got to raise this side up just a little bit more, and then I'm gonna have to figure out something about this side. I'm probably just gonna have to pick this corner of the body up and take my other hand there and just push this frame out from under it if I can do it. But take the body off the frame here. The reason why I'm doing it is I'm not doing a frame off restoration. I'm just trying to clean this frame up and see what's truly what with it. And honestly, I just want to make sure it's structurally okay. But I think it's going to be fine. I don't see nothing wrong with it. And also, it's just a lot easier to run a new fuel line, and just makes it a lot easier. The body had to come back off the frame regardless, because the body mounts on this car were just, you know, everything was out of whack on this car. It's just nothing's ever been right. So I went ahead and just took my cherry picker hook chain to it, and for y'all probably going to cringe, but went ahead and took the cherry picker hook to it, and just took it back on this rear panel back here, the rear valance panel here. But some people call it the Dutchman panel, but whatever, it's the panel back here. But I got hooked to that and then raised the whole back end up. You really need 2 cherry pickers for this to do this much more safely. And it's a little sketchy of how I'm doing it right here, but just trying to work on it. And as you see, I got everything out of this car. You know, I got the windshield out of it, I took the back glass out of it, and you want all the glass out of the car. I know I got this 1/4 window glass out in here, but you do not want any glass in this car when you do this, because you do not want to bust any of your original glass. And regardless if the glass is good or not, and the glass needs to be out. You know, that's the way, you know, to do it the right way. That's the way I do it, and I want all the glass out of the car. If I ever take a body, you know, off the frame and go to this extreme level, this is the first time I ever did this, you know, I'll take the doors off of it, I'll take everything off of it I possibly can to lighten it up. And I do not want no glass in it, because main reason is if the body does tweak or whatever, which it shouldn't, realistically I don't think it would. I mean, this is a pretty solid car here. It's got good floor pans in it and everything. But if your car is really rotted, you know, a lot of people are going to cringe, be like, you need to put square tube in there and blah, 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 blah. And this car is structurally sound, and I'm not putting it on the rotisserie. You know, I'm a shade tree guy. I'm just trying to take the body off the frame so I can roll this frame out from under it so I can clean it up and run a new fuel line on it and get new body mounts, and then just roll this thing right back under it and bolt it back down. That's all I'm doing. I'm not doing no frame off restoration. I'm not doing nothing, you know, crazy on it. This might be a little crazy, but you know, I need to, it's a couple spots on this frame I'm a little concerned about, and one of them is right here, but this is the worst spot on the whole frame, and a little bit of rot right in there, a little concerned about. But everything else is, you know, it's solid on top. Don't see anything there, so it's a very solid frame. But these frames are really bad about rotting out, like right up in here in these areas, and then they rot out also back where your rear axle is, right all up in here. They like to rot out real bad, but this one is very solid. But just want to clean it up. I'm not messing with any of the suspension or any of that. I'm going to come back to that at a later date. And I mean, I could do the rear suspension, but we'll see. But I just basically want to roll it out, clean the frame up, and probably just POR 15 the frame, and run a new fuel line on it and roll it right back under this car. So that's the whole point of doing this. And it needed to come off anyway, because like I said, the body mounts are all out of whack on this car. And I bought reproduction body mounts back in 2016, but it's just, you know, you're just dealing with stuff like this. These are from 2016, and they already look like that. You know, it's just stuff like that, but yet the other side is perfectly fine, and it's just, you you know, the body mounts were all out of whack. Some of the body mount bolts were in the wrong places. You know, some of the bolts were way too long right here. And, you know, it's just mistakes I made from the past, and that's why I'm doing this, because I want to do it the right way. And that's why I want to take the time, clean the frame up, and we'll just clean the frame up to where this fork here, this is for the Z-bar and all that, probably from there back, and just clean it up. And do the same thing from basically these upper A-arms back. We'll just clean up really good. And I mean, we're going to do the front too, where the motor and all that sits, but you know, I'm not trying to restore the frame. I just want to protect it and make it last. And you know, just make sure this frame is structurally sound, which it is, and go from there. But this had to happen. This is not the original frame to this body. This is supposedly a 66 frame, and then of course the body is obviously a 67. But whether or not that is true or not, I'll really never know. But I'm sure it's maybe a number somewhere on this frame, but I don't know where they're at. It might be one right in there somewhere, I don't know. But I'm going by word of mouth, and obviously I know this frame is not original to this body anyway, regardless. So it is a 66 frame, so it shouldn't be any different. But somebody told me the rear suspension is a little bit different between 66 and 67, but I really don't know on that. But something about the coil springs or something, I don't know. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that too. So I don't know if somebody stuck spacers in there or what, but you know, it's a lot of stuff on this car I want to correct, and you know, I'm putting this car back all original, and we're not restoring it, we're just putting it back original. That's all we're doing. So you see our pinion seal is leaking a little bit. So you know, this car drove roughly maybe 20 miles when I had the 283 and the 4-speed in it, and that's about it. And that was just, you know, up down the road a couple times, and that's really about it. but that's why I can do it. That's why I want to do this. So as you can see, you know, I run a brake line on it, the front to rear brake line, and as you can see, it's not perfect. And I want to straighten that up. Now I got access to it, and it's no excuse not to straighten that up. See, it's not in the clip. Things like this, you know, it's not in the clip. It's kind of all out of whack right there a little bit. And as you can see, you know, I put a new parking cable and all that stuff on it back in 2016, and there's nothing wrong with it. So as you can see, it does work. You know, I'm able to pull it. So it's free, so you know, none of that stuff is messed up. But I'm just trying to straighten it up. We got a body mount right there. Yeah, there's another one. But the body mounts are in really good shape, you know, so I don't really see nothing wrong with them. And it's a pretty good frame. So, and I know I always talked about this frame if it was ever an accident or rear ended or anything, and you know, that's why I want to roll it out from under this body too. But honestly, folks, I don't think it's ever been an accident. I think a lot of the issue was the whole time is this trunk pan, which is just junk, and you know, it's overseas junk. But you know, I started figuring that out in 2016, and I started drilling out spot wells. As you can see, I'm gonna finish drilling them out, and we got to get that brace off there. And we're probably going to figure out something about this brace, and we're going to try and straighten this out a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. And the car's fine, it's not going to flex, I'm not worried about it. This car has plenty of structure in it that I'm not worried about it. So, but man, you know, honestly, this would be a nice time to get up underneath here, and now that's actually easier to get to, and I might even come in here and fix some of these issues. Now that I can actually get to it. But they've got some issues right in there with the back of the floor pan where the back seat is, and a little bit of crunchiness right there. But this car is really, really structurally sound. So it had a little bit of typical rot in the wheel housings, and it looks a little worse than what they are. I trimmed some excess off of it, but it's pretty solid. So, but I think we'll be alright. So we got nice trunk hinges and everything. And I'm kind of wondering on a 2-door post, you know, this comes from my other build there, the Plymouth build there. But I kind of wonder on a 4-door Chevelle now, in this case, if all this is the same on a 4-door post car and a 2-door post. I'm kind of curious about that. So I know one thing different on a 2-door post is, and I think this is kind of a universal kind of thing, is this cowl panel is wider on the hardtop, obviously. But I know on 2-door post it's more narrow, so I'm just kind of curious if the trunk hinges are different or not. Kind of curious about that. Not that it matters, at least in this case, because, you know, I already have the body. But, you know, some of these things I see when I'm building the other car, it makes me look at this car a lot differently. And, you know, it's nice to be able to figure out how different cars are put together, and it kind of helps you. But, I do have a rocker panel for it. I want to figure out something about that, but kind of rambling on here a little bit, and I just wanted to show this, and I'm not worried about it. This car is not going to flex or fold on itself. You know, it's very solid, so I'm not worried about it. And I might end up doing that, but I want to clean the frame up. Main goal is clean the frame up, and I want to check that area over there. I think it'll be fine. I think we'll weld a plate over it probably, and then we'll probably just call it good, and then run your fuel line, paint it, fix that, and that'll probably be about it for the frame. And I'm gonna try, since I'll have it up in the air and I can actually do it, you really, like I said, you really need 2 cherry pickers, because you could hook another one to the front off this angle right here, as you see in the camera here, and then you could just safely pick the front of it up and then roll it out without all this sketchiness right here. So that's something I'd like to look into. The only problem with that is, you know, the legs of the cherry picker might be in the way from rolling the frame out, but I don't know, I'd like to look into that. But I'm a little impatient here and I want to get this done. So, but I'm gonna figure out something. I probably think serious about coming in here, I think, and we might address these wheel wells here, right here. While we have everything out of the way, it'll be a lot easier to clean everything up and grind everything and to fix them. So realistically, yeah, I mean, a lot of people put new wheel housings in it, or wheel wells, whatever you want to call them, but I think we can just salvage these, truthfully, because I think the way, regardless how you do it, you still gotta have about the same amount of time. If you spend all the time trying to cut everything out, and I really don't want to throw these, you know, trunk hinges off here and you know, get everything way out of whack. So, you know, I'd rather just leave that alone. So, and undisturbed, and just fixed what we have right here and not disturb up in this area. But I'm not afraid of it now, though. I'm not, because I am going to have to learn how to replace trunk hinges, the whole thing, where it's spot welded on a Plymouth here. So, you know, I'm not really that scared of it now, but on this car I wouldn't disturb it. You know, it's kind of unnecessary, because you kind of really, I mean, it's not that big a deal, but you're really getting into a structural area. But as you can see, it's not flexing or anything like that. I mean, I got a chain underneath here, so, but it's not flexing. So as you can see, it ain't going anywhere. So I got a nice heavy duty chain, but I tweaked my weather strip chain on just a little bit right there, but it'll be all right. We can straighten it out, no big deal. But this car is a very, very solid car, and you know, it's got a couple spots in the floor, but it's really not that bad of a car. So, but it was undercoated at one time. But I might end up coming underneath this car, and I might clean underneath of it up. We'll see. But once we get it on the ground, we can safely, I'd like to have it up about this high, but we'll go from there. So we'll figure it out. But this car really, you know, just needed a trunk pan. It really didn't need the whole floor pan and all that. I think we could save what's there. I'd rather not get into the structural integrity. But you can see headliner right there. It's pretty cool. But, so it has a headliner in it for now. But this car had black interiors, mountain green with black interiors. So it's kind of interesting. But all right, rambling on here. And somebody cut the package tray out there, unfortunately, which is what it is. I'm not too worried about it. But that's the plan. So we're gonna get this frame out from underneath here, and I'll have a second video of that. And I'll quit rambling on here, and I will see y'all in the next part. So we're back at it again here at Extreme Builds. On extreme level on a lot of these. So, and I'm doing it with me, myself, and I. Don't have any help. Nobody. So I'm doing this all by myself. So, alrighty. See y'all later. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.